Continue what we started last session. Last session, we started talking about the ecological succession, and we said that ecological succession is the process in which community replace another community, okay, or that the changes that's happened in a certain environment. So we could observe that some communities could replace the other, in which causing changing that place or that area from pearland even to a forest. And we studied the steps of the primary succession. So anyone can remind me, guys, what are the steps of the primary succession, or what happens in primary succession? Do you remember, guys? Yes, Uta?
At the beginning,
Yep,
they start growing at bare land with no
yep,
soil.
yes,
Then the pioneer species
good,
or the start growing up that
good,
live in the harsh environments
yeah.
such as lichens.
Lichens, good. Lichens considered to be a pioneer species. That means they are the first species that could live in a certain area. So lichens, they start to appear, for example, in a pure land that there is no soil at all. Then what happens?
Then after the lichens decompose for several times, soil deposit until it's fertile enough for the mosses to grow.
Yeah, good.
And when time passes, the soil gets more fertile for some grass and bushes to grow.
Good.
So some animals start coming to the land,
Good.
and after hundreds of years, trees will start growing, and forest will develop.
Thank you. The brilliant. Okay. So here, guys, that's the process of succession. So to the people, okay, who didn't attend our session physically, I'm gonna just share with you, okay, a video that could remind you about this succession. So you will need to watch the video carefully and then just try to figure what we explained before. Just kind of remind for you.
So we love
Like this, that the steps of the primary case succession. So as we can see here, the succession represents just how a community could replace another community, even within animals and plants and so on. So we start by pearlands, which start by lichens that consider the pioneer species. These lichens, they are gonna just break down the rocks, okay, and they are gonna form, or the fungi in these lichens are actually, they are gonna break down substances, so the soil start to be fertile or start to get some nutrients which allow mosses to appear. Then after mosses, okay, they increase in number. Some of them will die, decompose, and increase the soil fertility. So the soil now able to carry small plants like grass. So the grass keep increasing in number, and some of it die, so decompose, and so on until each community replaced until we get a forest. Okay. So here that's we call the primary succession. We start from pearland, nothing to a completely forest. So any hard question regarding to the first succession, guys? Anyone can't understand this? You guys can hear me?
Yes,
So any hard question in that part?
no.
So today, actually, we're going to pass to the another type of a succession, which is secondary succession. So what is secondary succession, or what the difference between primary succession and secondary succession? Let's see here, guys. Okay. So secondary succession, we said that, okay, once we already got, okay, a normal, yes, Mahi? Okay, so once we have already a habitat, or we have a certain place, okay, in which already everything is okay, so we could find sometime there is a distribution could happen to this balanced environment, whatever, because of some natural environmental conditions, maybe because of human interference or whatever. So we could find that this place start to be disturbed, and it lose its balance. So a lot of species start to die, or a lot of communities start to decrease in number. So in that way, we are gonna find that it was already a place which is balanced, or an environment that supports different forms of life and have a variety of communities. But because of some reasons, okay, this balance somehow disturbed, and this place start to turn into a place that doesn't have this kind of variety or even nothing of life. But we still have the soil. That the part here, that means the soil is still found, okay? That means living organisms, they die because of this disturbance, but the soil is still found, the soil still have its minerals and nutrients. So after a while, okay, we are gonna find that the soil start to grow new plants. How they get these new plants? Because as you watch the video, seeds already, they could be they could come from the air, water, whatever, okay, even by some animals or insects. So like this, whatever the seeds is carried by wind and fall down into this soil, it will be able to grow. And we start the regular, okay, steps of succession one more time. But the only difference here between secondary succession and primary succession, that primary succession will start without soil, start by bare land, nothing support life. So we're starting from zero. While here in secondary succession, we just regrow an environment that is was balanced one time ago, but just for some reasons it disturbed it. That means we have the soil. We have one step forward, okay, than the primary succession. So here, as we can see here, if you can see in that one, okay, example of secondary succession, let's place, for example, could you see the pictures, guys, or it's small? Should I maximize a little, like this? So here, as you can see here, in the first year after farmers stop growing crops, okay, or the first year after some other major disturbances, okay, maybe winds or whatever, okay, so weeds start to grow in farming areas, and then crabgrass is waiting. Sorry, crabgrass is the wood to often grow first. So like this, we're gonna find the weeds will just absorb, take most of the nutrients of the plant, so the plants start to die or start to, okay, have this disturbance. They won't be able to grow anymore. Then after 1 year, okay, new weeds will appear, and their seeds may have been blown into the field by the wind, or insects may have carried them. So that means they are going to increase in number and so on. So here we are going to find here in the fifth, or from 5 to 15 years, okay, we are going to find that small seed or seeds of conifers, okay, they may be transferred by animals or plants, or so, or sorry, animals or insects, or even the wind, okay, and so we start some coniferous tree to appear in that area. Then here we'll find some, okay, older trees or larger trees start to appear later and so on. So what the difference here, that's, we could find that this kind of trees, like this oak trees, they already succeeded, okay, that conifer trees, wild conifer trees, they succeeded the weeds, and weeds, they succeeded the crops, okay, and so on. So here we find that there is a kind of succession, but they start already from a soil that is already fertile, soil that have nutrients that could support different types of living organisms. So like this, we call it a secondary succession. So that means after primary succession happened, the succession keep happening, okay, in a form of secondary succession, in which new communities, they are gonna replace an old one. Is it clear, guys, here?
Yes,
Guys, is it clear?
Yes, mister.
Anyone can understand this part?
No.
Okay, so to clarify the idea, also we're gonna watch these videos that represent the difference between primary succession and secondary succession. Just here.
Okay, so this video, we're going to look at the process of ecological succession and discuss primary versus secondary succession. So let's get started.
So like this, okay, we easily could figure out difference between primary succession or succession and secondary one, okay? And as we watch in the video here, that's this real pictures, actually, it was amazing. You observe that within 5 or 6 years that the life start to reestablish itself in that forest after burning, okay? So do you know that just the last 2 years, there was a big kind of fire that happened in Australia. Do you remember these guys?
Oh, yes,
You
yes.
remember this, and the law of species, they die, a lot of animals and so on. So, okay, after a few years, we're gonna find this forest already retain its established one more time, because that kind of secondary succession will happen as already the soil is still found, still have the needed nutrients to grow new plants. So just a few years, and we're gonna find this will okay or this place will back again to its stability. So here, guys, let's pass to the last part in our lesson here. So we see that mature communities and biodiversity. So here we find that in the earliest stages of the succession, only few species grow in an area. Then once the community mature, or that's the number of communities start to increase, we are gonna find that that's mean here that mean the beginning we just have few numbers, and then these few numbers of species, they help to establish or they help to balance the environment, which cause more species to be added. Once we have a community matures or diversity of community, or that most community that could survive in that place are found, we find that the rate of growing of that environment is slow rate growing. So we call this slow growing climate species. So here that means they are the well adapted living organisms that could dominate, or that they could found in a certain habitat. Clear, guys? Is it part of this clear, or it's not clear for you? That means
Clear.
in succession we observed that some species or some communities, they are gonna replace others. So during succession, there is no kind of community that could last for a long time, except the last type of living organism that could dominate. That's because it's the well adapted, like the higher trees, because they are already higher, that they're gonna get all the access of the sunlight. So they are gonna replace the small plants, or they're gonna dominate this area. So here, this we could call these trees the slow-growing climate species, because the well-dominated and the well-adapted living organism that they could find. That means the finally variety that we could reach in a place. So here it is. The variety of species that are present in an area is referred to the biodiversity. That means how many kind of community do we have, or what the communities which we have in that place. So here we see that's having biodiversity that help communities to impact and spread disturbances such as insect invasions, and some like that. Because as we know, as we have different communities or different species in a certain area, that means more resources or more available resources for each species. So in that case, any kind of disturbance factors that will not have that impact or large impact on the species, because already we have alternative resources. But imagine just we have not that much a number of species, two or three number of species just in an area. So if one of these species is affected by any factor, it means a great loss of resources for the other species which will gonna be affected also, or that concern a large impact on the environment. Is it clear here, guys? Guys, is it clear?
Yes, mister.
So like this, we
Yes,
could
mister.
observe that during succession, the environment, or that here we find they try to get this kind of diversity. That's to ensure, or that's happen because nature always searching for the balance that something happen naturally. So we're gonna find that the mature communities tend to have biodiversity, and the mature community simply has organisms that are well adapted to live together at the same area over the time. So like this, guys, we already done of our section. Any harder question regarding to section 2 of chapter 19, guys? Anything is not clear? So please study this part very well, from your textbook. If you have any question, I'm waiting for your discussion next time, inshallah. Answer the section review, and next time we're gonna discuss together and discuss any hard point regarding to this. Thank you, guys, and goodbye.